In this presentation, we focus on coaching strategies for increasing intrinsic motivation in youth sports participation aged 12 to 17. This is an assignment for Central Queensland University, Unit ESSC 12003, Exercise and Sports Psychology, presented by Howie. So, why do we care if youth even play sport? Well, physical activity levels are not up to par with the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare. Figure 1 shows a rising trend for inactivity as age increases. Insufficient physical activity by age group and sex 2011-2012. To achieve sufficient physical activity, 150 minutes of walking or other moderate or vigorous activity over 5 sessions per week must be achieved. Therefore, more than half of the people in general, once they leave high school, are not getting enough physical activity, and as people get older, physical activity decreases further. Note that 30% of children aged 2 to 17 met the physical activity guidelines, but please be aware that they do need an extra 60 minutes more than adults. Figure 2 shows the rise over a 16 to 17 year gap in obesity or overweight people, with a general trend of increasing obesity or overweight individuals. Age standardized rate of overweight or obesity, people aged 18 and over, by sex, 1995 to 2011 to 2012. Note that 26% of the children aged 5 to 17 in 2011-2012 were overweight or obese. There is a significant correlation between physical inactivity and overweight or obesity in children and adults, based on the work from Hills et al. 2004 and Struber 2004. Now we move into general reasons why participants drop out of sport and motivational theories. Top 3 participant dropout factors. The 3 top factors underlying motivational reasons for participants dropping out of sport included competence, social acceptance, and enjoyment. Theories explaining dropout are the self-determined theory and the achievement goal theory. 3 fundamental needs which influence an individual's motivation are competence, autonomy, and relatedness. Intrinsic motivation is seen as the high score for the autonomy continuum, and amotivation is the lowest. This is due to intrinsic motivation having a positive effect on performance while also showing higher persistence when failure is experienced. This in turn means improved competence and relatedness, as well as an ability to take credit for a success more easily. Intrinsic motivation. Participation gives the individual satisfaction. Amotivation. Lacking motivation for participation. And the 3 types of extrinsic motivation, which are external regulation, or they want something such as financial rewards or to win. Introjected regulation, they feel guilt and that they must participate due to this. And identified regulation, which they adopt a behavior for an end goal. Achievement goal theory. Individuals hold success of their performance to either task-orientated or ego-orientated. Task-orientated is the improvement of self through learning new skills. This is perceived as intrinsic motivation. Ego-orientated is performing better than others through competition and gaining a mark of acknowledgement as a medal or a prize. This is perceived as extrinsic motivation. In this theory, it is again stated that a tendency to be persistent when failure is encountered is present in intrinsic motivated individuals. It is to be noted that an individual can hold both orientations. However, there is a general preference or dominance towards one or the other. Motivational climate is simply factors in the environment, such as teachers, coaches, parents, or peers. From this, environments which hold rewards or have an ideal standard or model in which the correct way of doing things is the focus have the tendency to oppose intrinsic motivation. To work on intrinsic motivation, an environment with choice and improving oneself should be the focus. Next, we will focus on coach-related factors and how they can use these strategies to improve motivation. A significant reason for children to drop out of a sport they otherwise may enjoy is due to a disliked coach. For a coach to be well liked, positive reinforcement is key, as this shows you are happy with their performance, that they perform the skill correctly or improving, and that you are their friend. A well-liked coach, despite win-loss ratios, proved effective for maintaining participation in sport and improved team cohesion. However, relying solely on positive feedback is not enough. Additional factors to include are: an autonomy-supportive environment gives children ownership. This not only gives them a sense of control of learning for themselves, but also improves self-awareness and self-sufficiency. Include youth in decision making. This improves enjoyment and challenges their cognitive skills. Silence used by coaches. This gives coaches more time to observe, allowing them to correct skills with clarity and meaning, and puts emphasis on youth figuring out things themselves. Focus on play over high performance. This improves enjoyment for youth in sport and decreases the risk of dropout. Challenge youth to focus on learning new skills and improving themselves without judging them against each other, as judging could create fear of failure and reduce the enjoyment of activity, which has a negative effect on intrinsic motivation. So how does all the information I have presented tie into an effective coaching strategy for improving intrinsic motivation in 12 to 17-year-olds? The answer is not an untried, unproven method, but is actually a reliable and tested method called coach effectiveness training. There are two core parts for this method, and they are 1. Principles of positive control over adversive control in the way of social influence techniques, and 2. Max effort, or performing your best, as the concept of success or winning. These were followed by the use of 4 desirable behaviors. 1. Reinforcement for effort and or good performance. 2. Mistake contingent encouragement. 3. Corrective instruction given in a supportive manner. 4. Technical instruction, spontaneous instruction in skills and strategies of the sport. Focus on enjoyment and effort with participants was also emphasized. To add to this, 4 undesirable behaviors were avoided as much as possible. 1. Non-reinforcement or not even responding to good performance or effort. 2. Punishment for activities not performed correctly. 3. Punitive instruction, or negative, unkind, or sarcastic instruction. And 4. Regimenting behaviors aimed at control keeping. Barnett et al. 1992 found that there was a 26% dropout rate in the control group compared to a 5% dropout rate in the CET group, despite having no difference with win-loss ratio between either group. Therefore, dropout was not influenced or solely due to the success or failure of the team. In summary, I would implement the CET method as it is proven effective at decreasing dropout rate despite win-loss ratio of the team, and works towards improving intrinsic motivation. One must focus the participants on the enjoyment of the sport, have positive social interactions between peers and coach, emphasize max effort or doing your best over winning at all costs, and practice positive control by using social influence technique, as these factors will help increase intrinsic motivation. Positive reinforcement, mistake contingent encouragement, corrective instruction in a supportive manner, and spontaneous technical instruction all proved effective and should always be present in sessions. Coaches should avoid controlling, negative, and win-at-all-cost behavior, as well as comparing performance or judging other participants against each other, as this may create a fear of failure and decrease intrinsic motivation. Furthermore, avoid punishment and forgetting to reinforce performance positively, as these work towards the reduction of intrinsic motivation and increases the likelihood of dropout in youth sport. Here is the list of references included, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.